Hello, everyone. We're looking at Star Fox 64. Man, this was a classic game from my childhood, and one of my favorite Unreal shooters. Actually, it just is. I don't know. It's a classic game. I love this game. This is probably the best Star Fox game they ever released. Probably, yeah. No, it is. I went back on the Classic Store and played the original Star Fox 1 and 2, and it's interesting to see them kind of push early 2D graphics and kind of force it to do 3D. But this is where the game really started to shine. A lot of the characters have really iconic lines in this one. It's where you have the best gameplay, the best kind of mechanics, the best story. It's just a lot of fun, and really I had a lot of fun as a child, just like going through this game as a kid, and as an adult figuring out all the little tricks that were involved in it. For example, if you get 3 rings, you extend your health bar, 3 gold rings rather. If you do certain things in a level, there's always an alternate path to take. Something that blew my mind is in the first level, right before it ends, because you are on rails, you need to quickly veer to the right and basically go behind the waterfall. And once you do that, you will actually unlock this secret hidden passage, and that will lead you to actually a secret hidden boss. And it's just all this really cool stuff that isn't really implicit or implied, but you just kind of figure out by doing it. And I think that's really, really cool. Well, it is kind of implied because Falco's like, oh, I've got this other path to go on. The designs of all the enemies are super cool. They're super fun. This game is really meant as like you go in through, through the level, just blasting and destroying as many things as you can. The sound effects in this game are absolutely fantastic. All of the, different ways you can blow up stuff and just kind of get as many points as possible. Another big point is making sure all of your teammates survive, because they can die, and they'll be in the dock for repairs for about a mission, and then they'll come back the mission after that. So yeah. Typically there are, I guess, about 7 to 9 levels per playthrough, and of course that will differ depending on which route you take, how you decide to deal with the final boss or make decisions in the levels and things like that. I remember one of my favorite levels in this game actually is probably the train boss. I don't know why, that was just so cool to me. As a kid, the fact that this giant thing was, going down the tracks, and you could rearrange it by hitting the switches and doing all kinds of other stuff. And so it's funny because the map, as you're looking at it, it'll take you across the entire, area of the solar system, of the Lylat system, to the end, which is Venom, where Andross is waiting for you. And so, you have Fox, Falco, Slippy, and Pepper, and you're kind of in this, Arwing squad, and you've been kind of mercenaries, but you've been requisitioned by the Conaria military to basically take out Andross, who is this giant monkey face. Just an absolutely ridiculous, setup, and I love it, very much. And of course, all the bad guys are monkeys, descended or like friends with Andross, and they all have really great dialogue, really great voice lines. And I think the best thing is that how every voice line is kind of distorted a little bit to make it sound like it's over the radio or the comms or whatever. I recently got a sample of the audio without that distortion on it, and it just sounds very strange to not hear the distortion. To have it actually crystal clear is actually weird, because it loses a lot of its personality. It's a lot cooler to have that kind of distortion effect on it, similar to like the police in Half-Life and the Combine and that kind of stuff. Probably my favorite thing about Star Fox is, it's a very fast-paced game. In order to get you could beat it in just a couple hours. It almost has that arcade-style feel to it. The sound effects are just off the charts. They're amazing, super iconic, and God, they never really made a proper sequel to this game. It was like Star Fox Adventures, which was a completely different game, and then Star Fox, not Command, Conquest, or the one on GameCube. I forget what it's called, but it's just shocking to me how they just never made a game like this. Like, just ever. And it just, I don't know, it seems kind of so simple to do. But yeah, there are some techniques that you use while flying your R-Wing. You can basically, use the booster to go fast, to slow down, and the G diffuser to basically, do a certain flip, in the through the air to, go backwards and get a bunch of different items that you might have missed. Another thing, of course, is all these ships blowing up, and you have to fly through them and avoid the debris. So there's things where you have like elements where you have to just ignore and get around certain barriers and edges, and avoid enemy attacks. And there is so much enemy variety in this game. Like every level has its own distinct set of different enemies that you will never see throughout the rest of the campaign. And it's so interesting to see their behaviors and their attitudes. There are certain strategies where if a lot of them are in a group, you want to hold A, and instead of just blasting, you're going to actually basically take a larger blast that will do a radius effect. You also have a set of bombs that you can deploy, and that will lock on and make a much larger explosion. The bombs in this game are the best explosion in video games I have ever experienced. Not only do they have a weird geometric style to them, but the sound effect, the real sound effect of how these things go off, is just so freaking cool. And about that, even when you hit the enemies and shoot at them and hit things, and when you get hit and the sound of the engine, crying as you're on low health, there's nothing like it. It is just an amazing game, and the sound effects are just off the top. The other thing that I think everyone thinks about this game is the fact that on the main menu, you can basically manipulate the logo of the game itself. I just thought that was always so funny and cool, and I wish more games would do that. Just don't have a main menu when we're sitting and just waiting for the game to start, or play a trailer, or even worse, nothing at all. But actually have like something where if you move around, the menu actually does something. Star Fox 64's main menu, again, is something kind of revolutionary, something very distinct and interesting, and something, again, you don't find a lot in other places. Another thing that's really cool is that you can get your wing shot off, and if you get your wing shot off, you actually are no longer able to use your double lasers. So throughout the level, you get things like a laser upgrade, so that'll change it from 1 green laser to 2 green lasers. And if you get a second one, it'll change it to blue lasers, which are even more powerful and extremely effective at just blasting rather than charging up. And they're extremely good. Also, when you fight the enemies, they'll give you a certain score counter about how many points you're getting. And of course, the more points you get, you can basically get a medal for each level, essentially. It might have taken me so long as a kid, but I got almost every level except for the C level, and I just don't know what I was doing wrong, if I was just missing an enemy on the screen or something. But yeah, if you basically lose your laser, you will basically, instead of getting another laser upgrade, you can actually get a wing replacement. So not only will you drift on the side that you're losing a wing, but you'll go down to basically one laser blast, essentially. And again, the game is so fresh, it keeps throwing stuff at you, it keeps showing you all the things that are coming at you, different environments, different scenarios. The dialogue is great. A lot of times you have to rescue your teammates from being shot down themselves. If you don't shoot down the guys pursuing them fast enough, it'll be an automatic like KO, and so you have to take care of that situation, prioritize it. All the bosses in this game have super cool designs. They each have a different kind of layout at how their ships are laid out and how they're built. On that point, as I mentioned, there's a sea level. So this game is not just all airships and space battles, but there are at least a couple levels where you actually play as a tank on the ground, and one level where you actually have a Star Fox submarine, which I thought was just super cool. It's something I haven't seen ever return to the series. And again, like I said, that level's just very difficult. You have to fight this giant clam or something, and yeah, the bosses themselves, obviously they get harder as the game goes on, but it's always very obvious where their weak point is. It's usually a giant glowing thing or triangle, and you just have to, avoid their attacks and shoot that thing. Something else that's also very interesting to note is that, each character will have its special ability, but especially Slippy. And I find it funny that Slippy is always the most incompetent one and the one that always is in danger. But if Slippy actually dies and you're fighting a boss, Slippy is the analyst. So you will not actually be able to tell how much health the boss has. The boss will not have a health bar because Slippy is not there. And I found that such a cool little detail that actually impacts, your experience. There's also Rob of the Great Fox, and there are some times when you can phone in Rob and he'll send you either supplies in a box or he'll bombard a bunch of ships from the Great Fox itself and basically blow up like an armada or something. There's also a rival team called Star Wolf, where it's, Star Wolf, Pigma, Andrew, and I forget the last guy. I want to say it's Leon. Oh yeah, no, it's Leon, and Panther's the one from the new game. And so Star Wolf is like a rival gang of 4 other fighter pilots that work for Andros, and you'll have boss fights with them periodically throughout the story. It can be really frustrating to do the dogfight with those guys because you need to basically track them down, learn how to boost, know when to basically do the G diffuser, U-turn and stuff. And in those levels themselves, they are not on rails, they're actually free roam. And so you can basically go anywhere in the map you want. I remember, oh my god, the memories I have of doing this level and shooting down the little flying green things are really burned into my mind. I love how simple and simplistic the things look and how they act much more advanced than they look. I think it's a really cool design and concept to have. It was just so much fun playing this as a kid. Oh my god. Of course, your friends will also say funny things to you if you actually try shooting them, like saying, I'm on your side, Einstein. Other things like this. There's a lot of very funny, good dialogue in this entire game. Again, one of my favorite levels is actually when you're in this base and there's a giant carrier ship that launches a bunch of enemies from its hatches. And you have, that's the level with Bill, and basically you need to blow up this alien ship. And I swear to God, that's based on Independence Day. There's no way that the developers didn't see Independence Day and thought, oh yeah, we're going to do that. Though that's exactly what they did. And that's still one of my favorite levels. And I love that movie Independence Day as well. It's super fun, super cool. I also like how geometrically everything is very simple, but it has a level of complexity to it. These weird, strange buildings and towers, even though they're in low graphics, you feel that they're part of the proper universe. And so there is some story that actually develops and is revealed through all these missions, even though they're very quick and very fast. It reveals things that, Fox's father was called James McLeod, that he was this ace fighter pilot. And basically that he, along with, other characters tried to take on Andros. I think that was supposed to be the premise of the first couple games, or at least the first Star Fox game. And so James McLeod is kind of this mythological character who eventually was shot down, and now Fox kind of has to not exactly deal with revenge, but, he has to, basically come to terms with that loss. And I remember, oh my god, shooting down Star Wolf when I was a kid, it was just almost impossible. It was the hardest thing in the world, and now to me it's almost like a joke. But yeah, I like this game because there's so many similar, routes you can take, all these interesting areas and whatnot. What's also cool is that whenever a character talks, their little screen will pop up and it'll show their health bar above them, so you know exactly how much health they have. And yeah, just the variety of different scenarios and settings. There's also a lot of callbacks to the early Star Fox games, like Cat appears on the sewage level, the sewage planet level, and so they have a lot of really cool, things like that. What I also love is the font, the sound effects. I could go about the sound effects for this game. They're so iconic, so well done. They're just great. And the music is great too. It has this uplifting, symphonic beat to it always. And the Star Fox theme is always, like, I can sing it in my head, no problem. What is funny is that if you do fail, or not fail a mission, but if you succeed in a mission, but you had a lot of your teammates die, it will play like depressing kind of a version of the main theme, which I find really funny. But yeah, that is Star Fox 64, the best Star Fox game I think they've ever made, and have ever made, and perhaps will ever make if they ever don't ever make something new. But I love this game. I think it's wonderful. I hate the sun level. Yeah, this is just a must play if you are into Nintendo. This is the game, and it's so short and fun and cheap. It's really really great. I love this. And you know, there's like guys who look like they have Gundams, and like, I don't know, it's just so cool and so creative. I love this game. It is amazing. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. See you later, guys.